Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. It's the second of April, and I'm at the Bergstrom Airport in Austin, Texas. I want to. A lot of people come in and out of Texas, and they have no idea who Bergstrom was, and I wanted to give you some information on exactly where I am and the history behind where I am. I also want to give you some items of interest that happened on this date in history. I hope you can hear me. In 1968, A Space Odyssey. This is the benchmark of all science fiction films. If you like science fiction films, you need to see this movie. Evidently, a lot of times as we get older and we grow up, they can't seem to do things like they used to. And apparently this is the case with science fiction movies. This movie is unbelievable if you like science fiction. A Space Odyssey by that famous director. It escapes me right now. And so go out and see Space Odyssey, 1968, A Space Odyssey. You'll enjoy it. 1992, the famous gangster from New York, John Gotti, was sentenced to life in prison for all his shenanigans, dealing with all sorts of misdemeanors and felonies, murder, you name it, tax evasion perhaps. It ran the gamut, and it was unbelievable. A story you may not know, one of his neighbors, one of his children was riding his bicycle in John Gotti's neighborhood, and one of the neighbors accidentally hit him with his vehicle and killed him. And that neighbor disappeared and never was heard from again. So this guy was no kidding around. This was real, and no one ever saw that neighbor again. So if you live in a neighborhood with questionable people, I'd go real slow or just walk. And in 2005, we lost Pope John II. He was the Pope of the Catholic Church at the Vatican since 1978. It's a shame he died right before Easter. Sunday is Easter. And he was the first non-Italian Pope in over 455 years. And he was a real good Pope. He got shot once, but it had a happy ending. The gunshot wound was not fatal, but he was a very, very conscientious Pope. Not all popes were very good. I learned that the hard way when I went to Italy, and I went to the Vatican and did some research on my own. Not all popes were. Some of them had girlfriends, some of them had mistresses, some of them had children out of wedlock. There was a lot of shenanigans going on, so be careful, but don't let that take away from the great things that the Catholic Church or the Roman Catholic Church, a lot of people don't know. The church is the organization that first started hospitals. Hospitals were started by the Catholic Church before there were hospitals. I guess if you got sick or you got injured, there was no place to go, there was no hospital, no medical facility. You kind of just had to take care of it on your own. Like that movie Castaway with Tom Hanks on the desert island with the soccer ball, the FedEx commercial. Yeah. Oh, there's an announcement. So let me tell you about the Bergstrom the airport is named after Bergstrom. It used to be an Air Force base. I don't know how long this announcement's going to go on. Bergstrom used to be an Air Force base, and it was named after a captain. He was the first Austinite to be killed in World War II. He was killed in Clark Air Force Base in the Philippines, and he was the first person from Austin to be killed in World War II, and they named the Air Force Base after him. Here's another announcement. A lot of announcements at the airport. You know, no parking in the white zone. Don't leave your bags around. Keep your mask on. You know, but it's one of the friendliest places I've ever been. I actually heard an announcement about a neck pillow someone had left in the lobby in the waiting area, and it was returned. I don't think that would have ever happened in JFK or LAX. So they return neck pillows. If you leave your neck pillow around, you'll get it back at Bergstrom Air Force Base. Bergstrom Air Force Base. That's what it was in the beginning. The state of Texas or Austin bought the land, and they donated it, or they let the Air Force Base have it. And the Air Force Base was here for quite some time before it outlived its usefulness, and and that's one of the reasons Austin gave it to the Air Force. 1947, around that time, when the Air Force came into, when it separated from the U.S. Army, and it became Bergstrom Air Force Base. Then when the Air Force Base closed or was no longer needed, the city got the land back and got the go-ahead to build infrastructure, increase the runways, and make it all work. And they kept the name. And Bergstrom, he's got a long, long name, so I'm going to read it. I don't want to butcher this gentleman's name. Wait till you hear this guy's name. This is worse than Bob or Bobby or William or Bill. This is his name was. He was a captain in the Air Force. He was killed in the Philippines at Clark Air Force Base in the Philippines, and his name was John August Earl Bergstrom. I'll say it again. John August Earl Bergstrom. If that was my first name, I would have failed before I even went to school. They said, "Can you write your name?" I said, "No. How can I write my name? It's 4 names. It's 5 names. Look at all those letters. Captain John August Earl Bergstrom." Why am I having so much trouble saying Bergstrom? Well, because it just doesn't flow off my tongue. But nothing flows off my tongue lately. I can't say anything correctly. So anyway, became Bergstrom Air Force Base. So now everybody flying in and out of Austin, which is like going crazy out here, will know a little bit about this airfield, this airport, where it started, why we got the name, Bergstrom. This is the 3rd busiest airport in the state of Texas after Dallas and Houston. And again, you can do some more research on this. It's a beautiful airport. I'm at gate 34 now. So it goes from, I guess, I'm leaving on gate 11. I'm going to Los Angeles, and I'll be back. And I'm at 34, and it goes all the way, I guess it starts at 1. I guess it starts at gate 1 on the other side. And it's just one long, what do they call it, carousel, or one long terminal. So that's nice. You don't have to, if you've ever been to Atlanta, you got to get on a train. You got to take a train ride. And it's always when you have to connect in Atlanta that your gate that you're connecting to is on the other side of the whole freaking building. You know, bam, you know. So it's a nice small airport. It's a clean airport, and you'll get your neck pillow back if you lose it. It's a beautiful airport. Everybody's so friendly here in Austin. I hope this helped. Now you know why it's called Bergstrom Airport. And I think that's it. So I'm going to, my plane is leaving in about 45 minutes. And have a great weekend. Stay safe. And I'm going to bounce. I'm going to bounce. No, I'm not going to bounce. I'm going to fly. I'm going to fly away. Spirit Airlines. Just remember, there's nothing wrong with Spirit Airlines. It's the people who fly Spirit Airlines. The pilots are great. The planes are maintained. The flight attendants are professional, just like any other airline. There's nothing wrong with Spirit Airlines. It's the people who fly Spirit Airlines.